Okay, so we've all heard people talk about business plans, right? Maybe you've even scribbled one down for an idea you had. But what if there's like a deeper level to it, a real strategy that, separates the ideas that fizzle out from the ones that actually succeed? Today, we're going to try and cut through some of that noise. We're doing a deep dive into something really, really fundamental if you're looking to start something or grow it, or even just, make it more solid, the business plan. We've pulled together insights from a few different places, Business Teacher T, Business with Mr. G, Biz Wizard over on YouTube, trying to grab the most important bits for you. Our goal here is basically to give you a bit of a shortcut to really get what a business plan is, why it's such a game changer, and honestly, how it can save you from some really common mistakes without making it feel overwhelming. So we'll unpack, the basic idea, why it's so crucial, walk through the key parts you got an example for that, look at the pros, and yeah, even talk about the challenges and how to maybe get around them.
Yeah, and it's really not just about writing a document that gathers dust, is it? This is more about giving your ideas the best possible shot. And, just as importantly, giving you that clarity, that confidence to actually go out and build something great.
Okay, so let's start right at the very beginning then.
Yep.
When we say business plan, what's the simplest, most practical way to think about it, especially for someone mapping out their next move?
Well, at its core, it's basically your roadmap. Simple as that. It sets out where you're trying to go with the business and, crucially, how you actually plan to get there. Think aims, strategies. One of the sources, BizWizard, had a really good analogy, actually, like planning a big party. Yeah. You wouldn't just hope for the best, would you? You'd think about who to invite, cups, cake, music, all that stuff, to avoid it being a disaster. A business plan is basically that, but for your business. It makes you stop and think through all the important bits. Your idea, how you'll run things, the money. And without that planning, well, both new businesses and even ones that have been around a while, they're just much more likely to fail. Because, as as one source put it really well, failing to plan equals planning to fail.
That really hits home.
It does. It's pretty stark.
So fundamentally, it's a formal, detailed document, outlines your goals, your strategies, and like the actual steps you'll take. Okay, so that brings us to the big question.
Why?
Why bother? Why put in all that time and effort? What's the actual payoff for, for you listening?
Right. Well, there are two really big reasons, I'd say. First, and this is maybe the most important one, reducing risk. Just the act of making the plan forces you to look at potential problems before they actually cost you money or time in the real world. It's like a stress test on paper. You have to think about what the business does, how it's structured, decisions, resources needed, everything. Yeah. Now, it won't eliminate risk. Nothing can do that, but it definitely helps reduce it. And that's huge, especially when you hear stats like, over 60% of new businesses failing in the first year.
Wow, yeah, that's sobering.
It is. So risk reduction is number one. Number two, and this is also critical, is convincing the people with the money.
Yeah.
Your financial backers.
Ah, the banks and investors.
Exactly. They don't just hand over cash based on a nice idea. They need proof. They need data. A detailed plan lets them see if your business actually looks viable. They can assess the risk, see the potential reward. It shows them you've actually thought it all through properly. Makes them much more likely to invest or lend.
So it's not just about getting your own thoughts straight. It's a key tool for persuasion, too.
Absolutely. It's your pitch document in many ways.
And it seems like there are other benefits too, right? Like clarifying your own vision. It helps you nail down your strategies, spot potential issues early. Like you mentioned, a clothing shop, maybe anticipating a slow season and planning stock levels.
Exactly, that kind of foresight.
And setting actual goals you can measure. Like that cafe wanting a 15% revenue increase in year one. The plan shows how and gives them something to track against.
Yeah, it provides that direction for everything, really. Marketing decisions, who you hire, where you spend your money.
So if you're that startup bakery needing a loan for ovens, this plan isn't just nice to have.
No, it's essential. Non-negotiable, really.
And who actually uses this plan? Is it just for the founder?
Good question. No, it's broader than that. Obviously, the entrepreneur uses it constantly. It's their guide, their working doc. But if you have partners or even key employees, they'll likely use it too to make sure everyone's pulling in the same direction.
Right. Alignment.
Exactly. And then, as we said, investors, they pore over it to check the risk and reward. And banks, they use it to see if the business looks like it'll succeed and, importantly for them, if they'll get their money back.
So it's kind of a central communication tool for lots of different people involved.
Precisely. A living document that guides everyone.
Okay, makes sense. So if it's this important, let's get into the guts of it. What actually goes in a solid business plan? Maybe we can use that example you mentioned, Finley Thomas wanting to open a local news agent, make it a bit more concrete for everyone.
Perfect example, right? So the first section you'll usually see is something like the business idea or opportunity or description.
Okay, so what is it you're actually doing?
Exactly. What's the product? What's the service? What problem does it solve? And critically, why will it actually work? Do you have a unique selling point, a USP? For Finley's news agent, it's not a brand new invention, obviously, but he still needs to be really clear about what he's going to sell and maybe what makes his shop better than, say, the supermarket down the road.
So differentiating himself.
Right. And if you were launching something totally new, you'd need to spend even more time here, making sure whoever reads it really gets the concept. Otherwise, the rest of the plan just won't make sense.
Gotcha. So nail the core idea first. What's next?
Next up, aims and objectives.
The goals?
Yep, the big picture goals for the business, but also the specific measurable steps you'll take to get there. And ideally, you'll attach timelines to those steps.
Makes sense. Smart objectives, maybe.
Exactly. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. That's the gold standard. And for most startups, like Finley's shop, you know what the #1 aim is initially.
Survival.
Bingo, survival. Especially with that scary statistic about first-year failures. Just staying open and stable is the main goal. Then once you've achieved that, you can start setting other aims, maybe profit targets or growth, expansion, whatever comes next.
Okay, survive first, then thrive.
Mm.
Makes sense. What follows aims?
Then you really need to dive into your target market and do some market analysis.
Right, who are you actually selling to?
Precisely. Who are your customers? Who are your competitors? What's happening in the market generally? Are there trends you need to know about? This is super important for Finley. He absolutely needs to figure out if the people living nearby will actually use his shop. What do they want to buy? Newspapers, magazines, snacks. When are they likely to pop in?
How does he find that out? Guesswork.
No, definitely not guesswork. That's where market research comes in. Use questionnaires, maybe talk to people directly, run a little focus group.
Ah, okay. Actual data gathering.
Yes. Skipping this step or not doing enough research is a classic reason businesses fail. You might build something nobody actually wants.
Okay, so know your market inside out. Then what?
Then you look inwards. Organization and management, or sometimes called people involved.
Who's running the show?
Exactly. What's the legal structure? Sole trader, partnership, company. And who are the key people? What skills and experience do they bring? This is where you showcase your team's strengths. For Finley, maybe he highlights his own drive, but also mentions his dad has finance experience he can lean on.
Ah, so it's showing the bank or investors that you've got the right people.
Yes. They're not just investing in an idea, remember. They're investing in you and your team's ability to actually pull it off.
Right, the execution capability. Okay. Well,
Marketing and sales strategy. Huge one.
how do you get customers and keep them?
That's it. How will you reach them? How will you persuade them to buy? How will you keep them coming back? This often involves the famous 4 Ps.
Product, price, place, promotion.
You got it. So what exactly are you selling? At what price? Where will people buy it? Place. And how will you tell them about it? Promotion. Maybe Finley plans some local leaflet drops or social media ads targeting the local area, maybe a loyalty card. It outlines the whole sales process.
Okay, a clear plan to get the word out and make sales. We're covering a lot of ground.
We are nearly there with the core sections. Next is location.
Where are you setting up shop and why there?
Exactly. For a retailer like Finley, it's all about footfall, how many people walk past, and who the nearby competitors are. Maybe he chose the end of his street because it's near a new school, and he figures parents and students will walk past every day.
Makes sense. Different for other businesses, though, presumably.
Oh, definitely. If you were setting up a factory, you might prioritize being near good transport links or having access to skilled workers. Location is very context dependent.
Okay. And the last big piece. I'm guessing it involves money.
You guessed right. The finance section, or financial projections. This is often the most scrutinized part, especially if you need funding.
All the numbers. Startup costs, running costs.
Yep, how much money do you need to get started? Rent, equipment, initial stock. Then what are the ongoing costs? Salaries, utilities, supplies. Where's the money coming from? Is it savings, loans, investors?
Yeah, predictions. Right. Forecasts.
Absolutely critical. You need things like sources of finance. Where's every penny coming from? Cash flow forecast. This is vital. It predicts the actual cash moving in and out of the business month by month. Banks love this. It shows if you can actually pay your bills.
Not just profit, but actual cash in the bank.
Exactly. You can be profitable on paper, but run out of cash.
Yeah.
Then you feed revenue forecasts.
Yeah.
How much money do you realistically expect to make? And profit margins. How much profit do you make on each sale? For Finley, needing that 10,000-pound loan on top of his 10,000-pound savings, this section has to be rock solid. He needs to convince the bank his projections are realistic and that he can afford the loan repayments.
Wow, okay. That's a comprehensive list. It really forces you to think through every single angle.
That's the whole point.
So we've seen what goes into it. Let's just quickly recap the clear advantages. Why go to all this trouble?
Well, three main things stand out, I think. First, it helps you actually forecast the potential, gives you a glimpse of where things could go, and lets you tweak things before you dive in.
See potential problems early.
Right. Second, as we said, it reduces risk. It's your guide, your playbook. Helps you know what to do and when.
Less fumbling in the dark.
Exactly. And third, it's your key to unlocking finance. It shows backers you're serious, organized, and you've done your homework. Makes them way more likely to say yes.
Clear benefits. But, okay, let's get real here. It can't all be smooth sailing. This is where it gets interesting. No plan survives contact with reality perfectly, right? What are the common challenges people face with business planning?
You're absolutely right. It's not a magic bullet. There are definitely challenges. A big one is just uncertainty. Plans are based on assumptions, guesses about the future, but the future is, well, unpredictable.
Like a recession hitting, or maybe your main supplier goes bust.
Exactly. Or customer tastes change suddenly, or a new competitor pops up out of nowhere. These things can make your plan look pretty outdated pretty fast.
So external factors you can't control.
Right. Then there's the fact that it's time-consuming. Seriously, putting together a good, detailed plan takes a lot of time and effort.
Which is tough when you're trying to just get the business off the ground.
Totally. It can feel like a delay, maybe even a costly one if you're paying for help or missing opportunities while you plan.
Okay, what else?
Lack of experience can be a real hurdle. If you're a first-time entrepreneur, you might not know how to create realistic forecasts.
So you might overestimate sales or underestimate costs?
Very common. And that leads to plans that look great on paper, but just aren't achievable in reality, which causes big problems later.
Yeah, I can see that.
Also, the cost of research. Proper market research, getting good data, maybe hiring a consultant. That can be expensive, especially for a small startup with hardly any cash.
So getting the good info you need to make the plan solid can be a barrier itself.
Definitely. And then there's a psychological trap.
Yeah.
Over-reliance on the plan.
Meaning?
Meaning you become too rigid, you stick to the plan even when the market is telling you it's wrong, like pushing a product line that clearly isn't selling just because it was in the plan.
Instead of adapting.
Exactly. You lose flexibility. You need to be able to pivot.
Okay, one more.
A crucial one. Inaccurate data. Your plan is only ever as good as the information you feed into it.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Pretty much. If your market research was flawed, or you misjudged costs, or like you thought way more people would walk past your coffee shop location than actually do, your decisions based on that plan will be flawed too.
Right. That coffee shop example really brings it home. You base everything on expected footfall, and if that's wrong...
Your whole model could be shaky.
Okay, so those are some pretty significant challenges. Uncertainty, time, experience, cost, rigidity, bad data. What does this all mean then? How can you actually tackle these problems?
Well, it's not about ditching the plan. It's about making the process smarter and more dynamic. First, regular reviews are non-negotiable. You have to revisit your plan regularly, monthly, quarterly, or whatever makes sense. See what's changed, update your forecasts, adjust your strategy. It needs to be a living document.
Not just written and filed away.
Absolutely not. Second, don't be afraid to seek expertise. If you lack experience in finance or marketing, get help. Hire a consultant, find a mentor, take a course. Getting expert input can drastically improve the plan's quality and realism.
Okay, so admit what you don't know and fill the gaps.
Precisely. And third, build in flexibility. Your plan shouldn't be carved in stone. Think about different scenarios. What if sales are 20% lower? What if costs are 10% higher? Have contingency plans. Allow room to adapt.
So plan for the unexpected, almost.
Kind of, yeah. Build responsiveness into the structure.
That's really practical advice. Okay, another common question we get. When should you actually do this? When do you make the plan?
The timing question. This is critical. The main business plan, the foundational one, must be created before you launch, before you spend serious money or take big risks.
Do the thinking first.
Yes. Sit down, map it all out, think through everything before you jump.
But you just said it needs regular review, so it's not a one-time thing.
Absolutely not. That's the key mistake many make. Think of it this way. Any truly successful, adaptable business will update its plan or even create a whole new one whenever there's a major change.
What kind of change?
Oh, launching a major new product, expanding into a different country, maybe facing a huge market shift like, I don't know, a global pandemic that changes how customers behave entirely.
Right. Big strategic shifts need a new plan, or at least a major update.
Exactly. You should be revisiting and tweaking your plan constantly if you want to stay ahead and be successful long term. It's an ongoing process.
Okay, that's a really important point. It's not just for starting up.
Not at all. It's for navigating the entire life of the business.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today on business plans, really gone deep. From, what it fundamentally is, that roadmap, to why it's so vital for getting funding and managing risk through all those key sections, and even tackling the real world challenges. We've unpacked quite a bit for you.
Yeah, and I think the big takeaway really is that while every plan is different, tailored to the specific business, the act of planning, of creating and then constantly refining that plan is absolutely crucial. It's just not optional if you're serious about succeeding as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
So, thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening? Think back to Finley and his newsagent idea. How could having that living, breathing plan make a difference to your next big project or challenge?
Yeah, or maybe think about a business you really admire. How do you think they stay on track, stay strategic when the world keeps changing so fast? Maybe, just maybe, it's because they live by that idea. If you fail to plan, you really are planning to fail. As you think about your own ideas, maybe ask yourself, which part of this whole planning process feels like the biggest hurdle for you? Or maybe the most exciting part to get started on? Is it the market research, the financial projections, nailing down the core idea?
Some great questions to mull over. Keep those in mind as you reflect on everything we've discussed today. We really hope this deep dive has given you some fresh insights and maybe some powerful new tools to use for whatever comes next on your journey.